Hello again, everybody. How are you doing today? It is once again your hostess with the mostest, Julie Loud, coming to you from wild, wonderful Western Pennsylvania. And today, don't know if you can tell, we've got a lot of sunshine out there, but, and there's a but here, I would like to tell you it has dipped about 30 degrees from what it was yesterday to a balmy 20 to 30 degrees, somewhere in there. And I do want to mention something today because it's very important in the Pittsburgh area. And I do want to say that today is the polar plunge. And I don't know who out there is familiar with the polar plunge, but these are people who are volunteers who, on the coldest day of the year, it appears, take a dive into the river down in Pittsburgh, in their swimsuits and it's a big day. And it is an event that you support the Special Olympics for. So to all of you who, whether you take the polar plunge today or you are a donor to anyone who takes the polar plunge, my hat goes off to you today. And I say thank you for supporting such a great charity. And I will also say, I've also had one of my friends say that they're thinking about doing it next year. And I've already told them that, I'm not doing that. But if they need a donor, I will gladly sign up to be their number one. So that's what it's worth. It's kind of funny, too, that all week it's been in the 50s here in Pittsburgh. And it went down to the 20s or 30s just for today. Then it's going back up tomorrow. I'm just saying, coincidence? I'm not thinking. But, temperature of the water, it's going to be cold either way. So we take that for what it's worth, right? But that being said, before I start today, I do need to give a disclaimer today because my topic is very delicate. And I hope you saw that from the title of my topic today. And this is not going to be something easy for me to talk about. I'm not talking about how to keep going. This is not a simple, how do you keep going day to day? How do you get out of bed? How do you keep making the kids lunches? This is not a simple day to day, how do I keep going? This topic is, how do I keep going when I don't want to anymore? So that being said, if that is a trigger for you, that is not what I mean to do to you. I am not a doctor. I am not a physician. I have no medical experience whatsoever in this field. All I know is that I'm an EMT. I'm a normal human being, just like you are. And I have gone through some very hard life experiences that I would like to share with you in the hopes that it'll help you. But if this is a trigger for you, I ask you right now and I beg you, please turn this off. Do not watch this live stream. Do not watch the repeat. I want you to stay safe and I want you to be happy because that is what you deserve. So that being said, we are going to start talking about how do we go on when we don't want to go on anymore. And this is a little deep. Sorry about that. But I'm going to try to keep it a little bit on the light side as best I can. Because this topic is very important to me because I've lived it for many, many years. And dare I say, a lot of you have too. And my goal here is today to make sure that no one feels the way I did. No one feels as alone as I did. And we're going to get through this. So, when you have a lot of depression, a lot of loneliness, and emptiness in your life, you need to realize, and at the time you probably won't because of the situation, because this is life. Life is not a moment. Life is a timeline for all of us, right? And at every moment in that timeline, we have good times and we have bad times. And you need to understand that the crushing moment that you're feeling right now, or have, or will in the future, the main thing that is controlling that I have learned over 30 plus years is this right here: your brain and your thoughts. When you're in a moment, your thoughts take over you. And it's that fight or flight moment that happens that makes you want to flight. And this is where you need to understand all you want to do is make the pain stop. It's not that you can't go on. That's up here. That's telling you that, but that's not true. It's a moment that's telling you that because of that human fight or flight. What you need to know is you just want the pain to stop, and you can control your thoughts. Don't think you can't. Don't let them control you, because that's where the problem starts. And that's where it turns into a snowball effect. And that's what you don't want. No matter what's happened, no matter what you've done, no matter what you've said, you are a good person. Right here. You are a good person. We all make mistakes. Every single one of us. Some bigger, some stronger, smaller, but we all make them. But you need to be kind to yourself, and you need to understand this is a moment. This is not a life ending or a horrible, I can't do this anymore kind of moment. You can get through this. And we're going to do this together. Okay? So let's start with my first word, my favorite word, right? Because I've said this before, right? When these thoughts start doing this with you, right? What's the first favorite word that I love? Stop. 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 Stop the thoughts right now. Right now. Take a breath. Close your eyes. Take that moment. This is where what I call you need to start from square one. And you break it down. Because a situation is huge. Situations can be like this, like really huge. But anything can be broken down into smaller sections. We've talked about this before. Okay, you have this. There is no reason. So they say, take it one day at a time, forget that. That doesn't work for me. And it probably won't work for you either. Because a day is 24 hours, right? That's massive. An hour. It's kind of long too, right? At least for me it is. A minute. That's 60 whole seconds. Can't do that sometimes. 1 second. Take 1 second at a time. And I remember the first time I did this, 10 seconds went by and I went, oh my God, it's 10 seconds already. And then all of a sudden it was half a second. It was half a minute. And I grew and I grew. You need to start small. Don't let something overwhelm you so horribly. You need to understand in these moments, you're not thinking clearly. Your thoughts are taking control of you. Don't let them do that. Break it down, step it back. It is so hard to see a solution when we are in that distress moment. And if you feel like you feel worse than you ever felt in your life, Now is the time where you can break it down into some very constructive thinking. And you can do this. But I need to warn about something. And this is from personal experience. One thing you can do whenever you go to someone who's a friend or someone that you feel comfortable with, that you know you can talk to. I warn you about going to those people. And this is something that is widely recommended by experts. And I'm not saying don't do that, because you should. You absolutely should do that. But what in my personal life I found is that when people love you and they genuinely care about you, they tend to give you advice based on that love that may not be in the best interest of the situation at the time. I'm not saying they're wrong. I'm saying they're giving you the advice they want you to hear. But it doesn't mean it's the advice that's going to help the situation and you in your best interest. Sometimes going to a complete stranger is the best advice you can take. There were times in my life where the personal touches, the personal friends, they were doing their best, but it wasn't helping. I found that when you go to someone who doesn't know you at all, they don't know your scenario, they don't know your past, they don't know you, you're a clean slate for them. They listen with an unbiased opinion. They listen to you. They listen to not you, they listen to your scenario. And they can take that based on their education and their experience, and they can help you look at things very differently than someone who may not see it that way, from, who knows you, from a personal perspective. And I can tell you that when I've done that, and I've gone to therapy, a couple different therapists, where I've gone through some of the worst times in my life, that have been unbearable, and I look back at them now. But I can tell you that over time, a long time, by the way, you can look back on those situations and realize no matter how hellish it was, you see it from a different perspective, because maybe you're out of it now. Even if you're still in it, you get that this different perspective and can maybe even get to the point where you forgive somebody. For me, it's always harder to forgive myself, but we'll talk about that in a little while. And also, even though you feel like whatever you've done right now is going to hurt you in the long run, forget that. Forget that, throw it out the window. I've known so many people, and we've all seen it, where I know I made mistakes. I've made some really bad ones that I haven't told anybody about. I've even got to the point where I've had to kick people out of my life because they were not leading me down a healthy path. They were not for my well-being. They were into them. And sometimes, you hear that saying, some people are brought into your life for a season. Some people are brought into your life for a reason. What you need to remember is time passes. Time is going to keep going on, whether you like it or not, no matter what's happened. It will go on. The hurt and the pain will get better. It may not go away totally, but it will change. And it will become something different. And it will make you become a better person because of it. Nothing lasts forever. Nothing. I promise you that. You know, whatever devastation you're going through, you will eventually feel better. It will go away with time, maybe not in the same way. But like I've said, I find it hard to believe that, we've all gone through hard times and everybody makes mistakes. We've all lived through them and we've all gone on to fight another day, right? You're human. You're human. We're all human. And sometimes it sucks. It really sucks, right? But you need to have, not only they tell you to have compassion for others, have some compassion for yourself, right? You deserve it. We're all going through hard times right now, and they're going to get harder. I'm not going to lie to you. As a buyer, I know a lot of what's coming. But you know what? I'm not afraid because I know I'm not alone. And that's why I'm here to tell you you're not either, because we're doing it together. And just because you've made a huge mistake, it doesn't define who you are. Truly. I mean that from the depths of my heart and soul. Of all the mistakes I've ever made in my life, really big ones, at some point, it's not who I am. It's not who I want to be. But I made changes to make sure that I was put on that path to make it right and make it true. And you have to realize that today is today. 24 hours is one day, however many seconds, however many minutes. But you realize when you get through that day, there is another one right behind it, right? And it doesn't mean that day is going to be the same as today. That day, something great could happen. Nothing could happen. It could be a very mutual day. But you'll want to be here to find out, right? We all want to be here to find out because every day is amazing. It's amazing to us, all of us. We've been given a life. I mean, great. It's great, right? That's why you need to keep going on. And it's just a setback. We all have setbacks. We all do in our lives. I mean, as a buyer, I live them. Setbacks is part of my life. I've told you before, I'm either loved or I'm hated. And, it's either a setback or it's a party, and the moment goes on and it changes very quickly. And that's just what life is. But when you're not alone going through it, it's pretty awesome. So some of the things I want to offer you is when you feel like you can't go on or you don't want to go on, I want you to know that there is somebody out there that does care about you. And we're back to this, right? The mind, the thoughts, right? They're going to say no one cares about you. You're worthless. Forget that. Forget that. That's wrong. That's totally wrong, boys. Just throw it out. Whether it's a parent, whether it's a sibling, a coworker, or me. The whole reason I'm doing this channel is because I care. I may not know you. We may never know each other, but it doesn't matter. I care about you. You are a human being, and I know you're making a difference, and you're a great person. That's why you need to keep going on. And me saying that's fine, but in the long run, you need to do it for you. Because it's right. And that's what you want. And that's what you need. And you may be affecting people in your life right now that you don't even know you are. And I can tell you right now, I was experiencing that about 5 months ago when I met up with friends from high school. It was a very wonderful experience, but a very hard experience for me, and I wanted to cry when I left. They saw a very wonderful side of me that I didn't see, that I didn't know. And that's what you need to understand. People see you, whether it's a stranger or a friend. You are amazing and you are affecting someone's life right now, no matter who you are. Never forget that. And take that for what it's worth. That's a lot and that's pretty heavy. And that means something. And you need to understand that life, no matter how hard or horrible it is, like I said, turn off the television, turn off the radio, walk away from it, read a book, do something that's away from all that. Do something positive. There's so many things that it's good to have a life. And my life has been filled with depression and anxiety for one reason or another. And I don't regret one moment of it. I thought I'm on medication. And there's no shame in that. And I have no fear in telling anyone that or talking to anybody about that. I've had many people come to me asking me about it. And I appreciate that because that's why I'm here. I may not be a medical professional, but I've lived life. Some of it hard, really hard. And if I can help one person, that's what makes the difference to me. Don't deny yourself what may be tomorrow. Snuggles, popcorn with extra butter, a really, really funny movie that's coming out. I can tell you, I want to watch the movie Barbie, which sounds really, really strange. And I mean, but I won all these awards and everything, but I am a very big fan of Margot Robbie. Love her. And I really want to see that movie. So I'm hoping, it makes TV pretty soon. Probably not because it did so well. But that's okay. Because something to look forward to. I want to do that. But you also need to know that no matter what happens, no matter the moment, no matter how hard it is, you do have a lot of things to be grateful for around you. And if you don't see that, it's only because you haven't wanted to or because you've been distracted. I am very grateful and very humbled by the many things in my life that are around me, that I've seen, that I've experienced, and that I can promise you I don't deserve. Be grateful for what you do have. Because if you look around you, there are a lot of people out there who I promise you would do anything to have your life and to have what you have. I'm very blessed that I've had enough jobs in my life where I have a roof over my head. I can feed myself along with some of my friends when they need help. I'm warm at night. I have good people I can turn to, but I know there's a lot of you out there who don't. You need to be grateful for what you do have. And I have to tell you, one thing that has helped me from my EMT experience, my firefighter experience, and other experience, being a volunteer. There is nothing more gratifying than being a volunteer and helping someone who doesn't have as much as you. If it does nothing else, it will help you see and focus on what you do have, because you're always going to be better off than someone else down the road. In fact, I will tell you, I've had a rough couple weeks. I've been a little depressed, been a lonely, but I give that to the weather because the weather here has been really dreary and rainy and cold, and I don't like that. But I did something small yesterday for a couple guys, people at the place my boyfriend works with. They were very grateful. It made me feel good. It wasn't something big. It doesn't have to be something big. And you don't have to make a long commitment to anything. If you volunteer for something, anything, even if you help one person and you put a smile on their face, it can make the biggest difference in the world. There is no doubt to that. And I am living proof. And that's what I'm bringing to you. So that being said, there was one more thing I have to say today before I end. And I hope you take it for what it's worth. When I started this channel, I had a couple of very wonderful, loving friends who I appreciate very much give me the blunt truth about doing this. They said, you're going to have haters. You're going to have critics, and they will have people. You want people who will talk down about you and criticize you because you're trying to do something positive and make a difference. I have to tell you, I didn't believe them very much until now. When I started this channel, one of the first things I said was that haters and no do-gooders, not people who didn't want to do any good, were welcome on this channel. Well, I have had that happen to me. I have been told that the only people who are watching my channel are people who are friends of mine who feel sorry for me. And because of that, they only want to subscribe to me and they only give me a thumbs up out of pity for me. And I will never have a channel that will go anywhere because I'm not juicy. I'm not gossipy. I'm not hardcore. I'm not controversial. I'm not any of those things. And partially they're right. I can't argue that. But they're also partially wrong. I'm not doing this for any glory or any huge acclamation or anything like that. I did this because I decided months ago that if I could help anybody at all, and make a difference in their life because of what I went through, and I could help them. That's all that mattered to me. So to you haters, guess what? I'm not listening to you. I am going to keep doing what my passion is. And if I have never more than 10 subscribers or 5 or 6 thumbs up, it doesn't matter to me. Because if it means something to anybody out there who's watching me right now, that's all that matters to me. And that's all that matters in the long run. So as we always say, in the long run, we can do this. We got this. I can, and I will. Take care, my friends, and I will see you next week. Thank you from the bottom of my heart.